2025, Joliet Township High School Board Meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lynn?
Here.
Mrs. Brown-Nair?
Here.
Dr. Hutchinson?
Here.
Mr. Coffey? Mrs. Stipp?
Here.
Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Fitzpatrick?
All right, please stand and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. On behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to welcome all of our visitors in person and those watching via live stream. Your presence is greatly valued and your engagement reflects the shared commitment to the success of our community as a whole. At this time, members of the public may make comments to the Board of Education on any item listed on the agenda. Please note the board respects and values the information delivered to us. But at this time, we cannot engage in or have a dialogue with you. Ms. Rico, do we have anyone? All right, thank you. All right. May I have a motion for items A through E on the consent agenda?
I make a motion to amend the consent items. Consent agenda items. Can we vote on all of the agenda items with the removal of the Hopewell check register from the check register?
I make a motion to, for the consent agenda with the removal of Hopewell.
Second.
All right. With that, can I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown-Nair?
Yes.
Dr. Hutchinson?
Yes.
All right, motion carried. Now we're going to go on to recognition and awards.
We need to,
Oh, just kidding. Now, can we please have a vote on a motion to accept Hopewell?
I make a motion to accept Hopewell.
I second.
Now motion carried. Roll call.
Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown-Nair?
Yes.
Dr. Hutchinson?
Abstain.
Motion.
All right. Now can we have, now can we please go to recognition and awards?
Yes, I'd like to ask Mr. McGuffey to come to the podium to do recognition for us this month.
Good evening. So I'm very proud to recognize the following members of the class of 2025 who have successfully met the state of Illinois' requirements for a college and career pathway endorsement. This distinction reflects the student's dedication to the career-focused learning and post-secondary readiness. To qualify for this prestigious endorsement, students in this group must complete the following 7 components within the designated career pathway at JTHS. And that includes engaging in 2 career exploration activities, completing 2 team-based challenges, participating in at least a 60-hour career development experience or internship, successfully completing at least 2 college prep coursework, or 2 college courses, including AP credit. They have to earn, or they have to participate in at least 2 courses within their career pathway, demonstrate English readiness at the college level, as well as demonstrate math readiness at the college level. This endorsement signifies that a student's commitment to both academic rigor and meaningful career preparation. Could you please join us in congratulating these 9 students from Joliet Central Campus as well as from Joliet West Campus. I'd like to read those names and their endorsement, and if you're here, you guys can come on up and we'll get a certificate for you and I think a photo opportunity. Elizabeth Arriaga in the education pathway. Ernesto Galmici in the STEM and manufacturing pathway. Yeah, it's right there. Valerie Hernandez in the health science technology pathway. Jasmine Lopez from the health science pathway. Jocelyn Montesino in the health science technology pathway. And Brianna Okup in the health science technology pathway. From Joliet West, we have Sarah Gons in the education pathway. Luke Merritt in the STEM and manufacturing pathway. And Mia Guerrero in the health science technology pathway.
Family that would like to come up, I invite you to take a picture as well. Don't be shy. You can come up. Right up front. Oh, perfect. Very nice.
All right, we're going to take a brief recess real quick so we can congratulate the awardees.
correspondence from the Village of Shorewood. They are concerned about some solar panels that are projects that are looking for a place in Shorewood. So I did distribute some information to you with some of the projected loss if we were to have solar panels versus potential residential areas. When you have a chance to look at that, if you could just submit any questions to me or your thoughts. If there's further discussion needed, we can surely do that too. I did talk to the mayor of Shorewood today, CC DeBold. The first hearing was this evening at 5:30. And there are other municipalities that submitted letters of opposition. And those do include the Village of Shorewood, Troy Fire, Troy Township, and the City of Joliet. I know that the school districts that are affected potentially do include Minooka High School, Minooka Grade School in Troy. And I know that those discussions are happening at other school board meetings as well. So please take a look at the information. And again, if you have any questions, the Shorewood did want me to share that they are in support of green projects. There was actually a previous solar project that was approved, but that was for an area that was zoned industrial. This particular area, and there's a map within, is currently zoned for the most part residential. And when I asked how much of the acreage is Joliet Township District, I was told it's about 80 acres. So the estimate would be potentially 200 residents, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, but those are projections. So again, if you have any questions after you have an opportunity to look through the information, please let me know. But the village is asking for letters of opposition for the projects in these particular areas.
Is there a date when they need any support or not by?
So they do not know. There will be 2 subsequent hearings for different entities. They do not know the dates of those as of today. They would prefer information, or a letter of support as soon as possible. But I did ask them to share those dates with me as soon as they get those dates. And I will, of course, share that with all of you.
I would like to state that Will County is really suffering when it comes to residential housing, and I'm not in favor of supporting solar farms versus residential housing.
And again, I just want to reiterate that Shorewood has been doing green energy projects, which are good, and we appreciate those, but we are in the middle of a very, we have a housing shortage across our county, and especially in this area. So I would be in favor of a bill, or of a letter of opposition.
I don't know enough to have an opinion yet.
I think that's very fair. And again, if there's any information or any follow-up questions you have, just let me know. And when I know those dates, I will share that information. Mayor DeBold did say, he would be happy to come to a board meeting to answer any questions. Obviously, tonight didn't work because that's when the hearing was. So, okay. Thank you. Now, we do have some presentations this evening. So we will start with our annual grant presentation. And again, this is a presentation you have seen before, and we have multiple grant managers in the district who are here with us this evening. So I'm going to turn it over to them.
Thank you, Dr. Guzman.
I just want to emphasize that this is an annual presentation that we give to the board regarding a big picture, high view of our federal grants. And additional information is that we meet, our grant managers meet monthly with Dr. Guzman, Dr. Hampton, and myself to talk about our expenditures, our remaining balances, our potential projects that would come for discussion for support. And we do our best to blend and braid between all our federal grants to ensure that we are supporting all our initiatives aligned to our strategic plan. So that is one of our strengths. I think we have very well effectively use our grant funding. So I'm gonna start off with Title I to give you a brief overview of our Title I grant. Our Title I grant really projects our alignment to the strategic plan with our line items addressing reading and math, professional development, are supporting our family engagement liaisons, the parent involvement, and our McKinney-Vento students. This year, we are awarded close to $1.9 million. You can see the breakdown in the general areas, for Title I, where most of it is actually tied to salaries and benefits. So the salaries that would sit in Title I would be our literacy teachers, our double block math teachers, our family engagement liaisons, and then salaries dedicated to something like similar to like problem solving circles that we do, and a lot of our credit recovery options. Title II grant is to address student achievement. This is where we focus in on professional development and retention of teachers. In Title II is where, for salaries, is where we house a percentage of our salaries for our instructional coaches for both campuses. And then Title IV is they call it the well-rounded grant, in addition to student achievement. We talk about technology and well-rounded education, safety and healthy living. So within that, we address different areas such as Project Lead the Way, our blended physical education classes, mental health screeners, and some of our AVID work that we've done. So those are Title I, II, and IV, and I'll be working with our new curriculum director for English, Susan Montano. Her and I will be writing the new grants, and she will be taking over as grant manager. So I'm going to continue on. So ESSER 3 is no longer, we don't have funding, but we still have to report out because it ended in January of this year. So we did use all our monies with the help of Islandis and our grant managers. We were able to make great improvements within our campuses and implement items such as learning loss in our after-school programs. So then I'll turn it, there's the allocations. I really want to just turn this over. All right, Jamila.
All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you. So our next grant is our Title I-D grant, which funds our educational program at River Valley. Out of the grant, a lot of salaries and benefits are prioritized to support teachers. We have 3 teachers at River Valley. We also leverage funds for GED assessments, instructional subscriptions, and supplies. Last year, we increased the number of devices at our River Valley campus, so we also invested in iExcel, which helps with the literacy and numeracy and students being able to work in those areas to improve. Initial allocation was $43,000 with a carryover of about $50,000, with the total being $93,982. So next we have our IDEA grant. IDEA grant supports our special education programming and continuum of supports that we have throughout the district. One once again, a bulk on salaries and benefits for additional support from paraprofessionals, related service providers such as speech pathologists, school psychologists, DHH itinerants, and more. We also fund supplies as well as contractual, if we need any contractual support. We also do purchase services, so instructional programs such as IXL. We have IXL, Apex, and other instructional-based programs. And then also supplies, I mentioned, something new we did with IDEA, we added in USF, which supports teachers building capacity so that more of our content specialists can also go back and receive their LBS 1 endorsement. We do a lot of professional development, CEC. We also, this year in Tampa, will have a group of teachers going to AVID to support our new program, our consultation model, where we have push-in and pull-out services for students, and I think in subscriptions as well. So that's our IDEA grant.
Mrs. Cage, can I just ask a quick question?
Yes.
There seemed to be a substantial amount of carryover. That's not typical, correct?
For the past few years since I've been in the position, the carryover's been heavy, and I anticipate that a lot of that was due to COVID, when we had the extra funding, but yet weren't able to spend during COVID.
Okay.
This year, I saw the new grant is 1.6, so it is lower. The initial allotment,
Right.
and that carryover, we have been spending down,
Yeah,
so,
okay. Thanks.
but yes.
Good evening again. CTE, I think it's just important to recognize as we go over these two CTE-related grants, we do not receive any carryover. The grant ends on June 30th, so we work really hard to make sure that we've expended all those funds to meet that deadline. That being said, I think it's important to note the amount of programs that are impacted by these grants, right? Up to 54 different classes that these funds support, specifically out of grants, a few local budgets, and whatnot. But lots of teachers, lots of students in CTE that these grants support. We're looking at two main grants here. The first one is Perkins. That's the federal grant, which this year we received a slight increase, a couple extra $1,000, and that totaled $250,000 for this fiscal year. I believe I was just notified yesterday, and I'll be confirmed tomorrow that I think we will receive an additional $30,000 to spend for June 30th. So that should go up a little bit. CTI 25, this year we actually received an additional $110,000. That's due to some formula changes and new initiatives at the state. We do anticipate that all of these grants will see slight increases over the next 3 years as more money is being allocated towards CTE programming at the state level. The goals, this clicker is slow. The goals of the program obviously is to support CTE programming, and that is through anything related to services like softwares or any sort of consulting, research-based practices, building in new curriculum, teacher work time. A lot of the funding is used to support supplies, equipment, to make sure that we have the latest and greatest, and that our students are being trained on industry equipment, or modern industry equipment. So up first there you can see Perkins 25, again those $250,000. You can see the breakdown in the chart there. A large portion of it was spent on services, which does include some of those software fees, some of our stipends for some of our Skills USA coordinators and whatnot. Some notable expenses there. This year we did have some child development lab assistants. We also added the CTE paraprofessional position, which we split between the IDEA grant as they're helping SPED students in a CTE class. So we did include those in at least part of their salaries in this grant. Softwares, some equipment, cosmetology tuition and dual credit fees. Those are a new item to the grant for this year. So we did pay for portions of those items. As well as certifications like Microsoft Word, OSHA 10, ServSafe. For CTI 25, very similar, same goals as Perkins. Again, the breakdown you can see there. The majority of the funds here was used on supplies. So that would be consumable, tangible items in front of students in the classroom. You can think of that like wood, nails, ingredients for the recipes, etc. So a big majority of the money was spent on that, as well as some non-capital equipment items under $5,000. So you can see the notable expenses there, the Skills USA advisors, the coordinators, participation in Skills USA, some robotics, and some conferences as well. And that concludes CTE. If anybody has any questions.
So non-capital equipment, that would be equipment that it doesn't meet a certain dollar amount criteria?
Yeah, so supplies is up to $500 for the item. Non-capital is $501 up to $4,999. And then capital equipment is $5,000 and more.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Hello, everyone. For Title III, you'll see some connections between our strategic plan and the way that we spent our Title III money. Most importantly, the enhancing of our instructional programs. So that includes just bringing professional development for us to collectively enhance our collective capacity as a program. And also ensuring that we bring more opportunities for our families to connect with our buildings and with our staff. And in addition, bringing some money for credit recovery as well. So as you look at the breakdown, the big bulk of our expenditures were on professional development. The other part was salaries and benefits for those staff that were serving just different programs like subject.com, which is something that we paid in resources. And the other largest part would be our family engagement, which was extremely successful this year. Questions? No? And then,
Okay, so this school year, we also received Title I 0038 grant funds of $10,000. This money is used for our planning year. So we have a team of teachers at our Joliet Central campus with a focus on children with disabilities and looking at a plan to help improve supports and services so that we can improve achievement and performance outcomes for those students. So a bulk of this grant is on salaries and benefits for that team to meet, as well as supplies for those teachers as they plan.
I'm sorry, is it leaders or is it teachers that are doing the initial planning?
So it's a team of teachers, and this grant, and the grant manager told me, you really can't pay administrators over
Okay.
here.
Yep.
It's more so teachers. It did have a clause in there that if you paid an administrator, I think it's only up to $500, but we're not planning to pay administrators. However, administrators will sit on that team to help lead that team and guide that team in the planning process.
That's why I was asking the question.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? First of all, thank you very much to our grant managers. Are there any questions from the Board of Education regarding any of the information shared?
I was asking as I went along, sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine. I just to conclude that part, obviously, we all know that there's changes at the federal level potentially. We actually talked about it in our admin team yesterday workshop. And I also received the minutes from a meeting that was through ISB and IASA. And there's really not a plan at the state level either. We're all in the same boat where we're monitoring, we're paying attention, but we do anticipate shifts. We know that there's already prorated amounts within the budget for certain things. And if there's things at the federal level, that's going to affect us. And so we're watching and monitoring, and I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, Dr. Hampton. So, thank you again. Our next presentation is our educational services update, and so I will turn it over to Ms. McDonald again.
I'll be presenting on behalf of Dr. Hackney and Dr. Riley. I wanted just to point out that most of this presentation is, the same format as I did in January. So this data includes January and then semester 2. Moving forward for next school year, I'll be presenting this only one time rather than twice, so that will be then just at the conclusion of the school year. So again, to recognize the teams that really focus in on those additional supports for our teachers, we have 3 main areas: our building MTSS teams, our district MTSS teams, and then a district math team. And they meet, whether it's weekly or monthly, and with their focus on the students and our campuses. How do they go about? How do they go about and launch that? From our building MTSS team, they look at entrance and exit criteria, progress monitoring data. They do enrolling the exiting students on a regular basis through campus. Our MTSS teachers do learning walks on a weekly basis. They communicate regularly with families. We provide professional development as needed for those teams. Our MTSS team is actually myself and Dr. Hackney and Dr. Riley. We meet on a weekly basis. We also meet with the district directors on a weekly basis to look at district and building level data. And then Mrs. McMorris meets quarterly with her math team to look at that math double block structure and the data associated with it. So speaking of data, we will continue using these different platforms to look at and analyze our student academic behavior, bag data, behavior, academics, and grade data, as well as anecdotal data that we get from our teachers. Just as a review for the Board of Education, when we talk about Tier 1, that is what we would give to all students in all classrooms. Some students need more, so when we talk about Tier 2 and Tier 3, is in addition to Tier 1 instruction, Tier 1 resources. So in what we would want to see is that 50% of students would need Tier 2 and then a small group would need Tier 3. And as we're moving through, it's our goal to shift to this breakdown. So Tier 1 at Joliet Township High School, we offer core classes in English with the implementation of our pre-AP English 1 and English 2, our vertical alignment in math with Carnegie, science, the biology, physics, and then social science, the three courses with the implementation of pre-AP and world history. Our curriculum is aligned to standards with common district assessments, both formative and summative. We do have common redo expectations for relearning and retaking of assessments. We offer online tutoring at no cost for our students, and both campuses offer a writing lab and math lab available during their lunch periods. In addition to Tier 1, we also this year implemented our rollout of our instructional philosophy and norms, and we just finished our first year of our Path to Avid school-wide with our grade 9 teachers. This is semester 1 data that I shared in January. Here is our semester 2 data for online tutoring. Again, if I can go back, what was an improvement is our attendance rate. So we went from an attendance rate of 71% semester 1 to an attendance rate of 77. So we have a lot of students that sign up for online tutoring, but unfortunately they don't follow through sometimes with when they sign up. So Mrs. McMorris and her team have gotten a lot better with
semester. So when you see an increase from first, second to second semester, you get student buy-in after first semester, and more students say, okay, this is helping me, so there's a more of a buy-in with second semester for our writing and math labs. So I'm gonna go into now, the watch list data that our MTSS teams, are assigned. So each grade level at each campus, their MTSS team, identify students, grade specific, credit dependent, that, end up on their watch list. So what this was that I shared in semester one, the number of students, and then the percentage, on track. So, that's like what you shared in January, even though it is at 28%, it's still a positive with the students who were off track, and now we had 28 get back on track. Working with Dr. Riley and Dr. Hackney and their teams, they really put a large emphasis on the watch list, and you can see an increase in the number of students, especially in freshmen and sophomores, that they're targeting, and also the number of touch points, and also the number of students that are on track, so that really becoming more persistent with our students, and seeing that increase of students on track after semester two.
I have a question. Do you keep the semester 2 data and, check in with those students semester 1 so you're not starting fresh again every single year?
I don't know if I can answer that, but the watch list data is recorded into our PLP log in Infinite Campus and also Panorama. So they will use, so your question is, so after semester 2, these students, would they go back on the watch list for the?
Yeah, and still receive supports.
We would, yes, but not freshmen, because the freshmen, we would wait until we start getting some grade data.
So if they're on it freshman year, then sophomore year, they would be.
Potentially, if
Okay.
they still need to be watched.
Okay,
It's shared with the next grade level.
okay.
So I know that the data is collected across all grade levels. I would be interested in seeing a breakdown by grade level for on track after each semester. I'm not asking for it now, but is that something that you can share? If you break out the data on track by grade level? Yeah? Okay, thank you.
I have another question. If once students are done, like maybe they're back on track, is it typical they go back onto the MTSS, or they kind of, once they've made progress, they're keeping up with that progress?
I can give you an example. So we had students move out of a learning lab. So they made progress, and we removed them out of the learning lab, say for reading, but they were put on the watch list as an additional layer of support to keep an eye on them. So we don't completely eliminate those levels of support. So if I'm in a reading lab and I made progress, and after first semester, second semester, I'm not in the learning lab, but they'll put that student on a watch list, so someone is checking in and watching that student.
Okay,
Does that help?
yes.
So tier 1 recommendations for next school year, we added an additional release time to each campus for grade 9. And then this summer, actually starting Sunday, and then into July, we'll be taking teams of teachers and leadership to Avid professional development. Next school year, we'll be focusing on our instructional norms and WICR for most classroom teachers. And our new teacher orientation includes the implementation of our new playbook. I brought a copy for the board, and I'll be glad if you each would like a copy.
I can email it out if you send it to me.
This is what the instructional coaches and Dr. Hackney and Dr. Riley created this school year, and this will be our playbook that we use with our new teachers. So these are our expectations, these are our resources, and this is what we'll also use part of our school improvement days. So we're really proud of the playbook that we have. Any questions on our watch lists or the work that our MTSS teams have done before I jump into our STAR benchmarking? All right, I'm going to jump into the STAR benchmarking. Reminder for the fall, winter, and spring. So I did share the fall to winter in January, so this will include now the winter to spring. We'll start off with math. Just to talk about when we talked about some tier 2 and some of our students, double block math is an additional 55 minutes. You can see the semester 1 data and the semester 2 data. Our enrollment goes down from first semester to second semester because some students exit out of double block math, which is great. And then you can see the average passing rate for that. We also offer math learning labs, so that's an additional 25 minutes for students not in a double block math classes. You can see first semester data and second semester data. So our enrollment goes down second semester after first semester of students in a learning lab and their average passing rate. Again, this is the same format that I've shared with the Board of Education. I pull the STAR data based on campus and also grade level and course. So on the left-hand side are the different math classes and their levels. The number of students is our N number, and those are the students that would have a fall and spring score. It's the average of that group, and then the average growth percentile of that group. Yellow means that they made expected growth according to the projectile, so between 35 and 65. Low growth is red, high growth is above 66%. That's with the right-hand column. Average scores that are coded green, that means that that group of students are at grade level for their proficiency benchmark. So I'll go through then the next couple slides. So this is 9th grade Central, 9th grade West. 10th grade Central, 10th grade West. 11th grade Central, and then 11th grade West. I pull 9 through 12 because we have 3 years of graduation requirements. In addition to the grade data for our learning labs, I also have asked the teams to pull their STAR data and also IXL. We use IXL in the learning labs. So within here you can see this is our winter data that I shared in January. And then here's our winter to spring. So our winter to spring growth STAR data. So a +5, like 2 points is a good growth with STAR. And then a growth of 100 points is 1 grade level with IXL. And these are averages. And then I also asked the team how many of these students then pass their respective math classes. So this is semester 2 data. We also have math interventionists at each campus that supports our students in addition to those tier 1 and tier 2. We pull in or push out into our double block geometry or algebra classes. You can see the data from first semester and second semester. Again, where you see the +9, 97 average for the year, that's in an IXL. So the students grew 1 grade level first semester and 1 grade level second semester. But many of these students are at a 5th grade level or less when we work with them. Our recommendations for next school year, in addition to everything that we're continuing, we're adding a math interventionist, which we've already hired for the central campus. Questions on math? We've made a lot of progress with our math program. I'm very proud of them. All right, reading. In regards to the same format for the board, so it's our English classes as the courses, the number of students, the fall and spring averages, and then the proficiencies. So this, there's 12 grades, so this is 9th grade Central, 9th grade West, 10th grade Central, 10th grade West, 11th grade Central, 11th grade West, 12th grade Central, and 12th grade West. I want to point out, if any of the areas were red, I did reach out to the curriculum director and the other supervisors. I pulled the STAR reports so we can dive deeper into the why. So that was done in May as well. Another resource that we use for reading is we have a subscription to Newsella. I shared some of the data in January, but this is our year data. So we have over 3,600 active students, over 1,000 articles viewed, and quizzes submitted. So students take quizzes after reading an article. So the entire year we had over 11,000 quizzes submitted. So the more they use it, they read more, they learn more. And then in regards to our literacy classes and learning labs, you can see the literacy classes enrollment goes down. Second semester, again, we exit some of our students. And then our learning labs, we have similar enrollment second semester. And then here's our academic data. And the reason why I don't provide grade data for the literacy is because compared to math, because math, like math blocks supports math, so it's a class like it's together. Literacy does not support English class. Literacy students build up their reading skills. It may impact, say, my English class or my science class or my social science class, but it's not a connected how we do it with math double block. And then here is our learning lab data from this school year. You can see fall to winter for both campuses, and then winter to spring. Recommendations again for next year. In addition, we're continuing with, we will be offering pre-AP biology and AP seminar, which will replace pre-AP English to honors. And our pre-AP biology professional development just happened 2 weeks ago with the entire team. Lastly, our accelerated process. So we, for the class of 2029, we reached out, we identified students based on their placement exam. We mailed families, we emailed them, phone calls, and had in-person meetings with all of our incoming freshman families. We discussed selection of their 9th grade accelerated classes next year. In their schedule, they are going to be scheduled in an advisory with an honors AP teacher with a focus of academic support. That accelerated advisory teacher will receive a stipend. And we're just finishing up our summer enrichment program. So it happened last week and this week where we reached out to all our accelerated students and families and asked them if they'd like to attend like a 2-week boot camp with a focus on the different core areas. So that's just a little of the work that we've done this school year in regards to supporting our students. Questions for me? I will send out that playbook. They did great work, so I'll send that to Dr. Guzman so she can share that out with the board.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
The last report within superintendent reports is the annual instructional materials report. It's within your board packet. Diane or I would be happy to answer any questions. Again, that's an annual report that's presented to the board.
All right, with that, we're gonna move on to action items. May I please have a motion for A, agreement between Joliet Township High School and Guardian Angel Community Services?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Stiff?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Rivera?
Abstain?
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Motion carries. May I please have a motion for approval of Title I Plan 25-26?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Berman?
Yes. C, approval of JIU credit requests. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I just want to share with the board that we're really excited about offering this opportunity to our CTE teachers. The JIU credit would be in addition to their professional development that occurs on our school improvement days. And working with Mr. Pelosius and our potential consultant, we've mapped out the scope of work and the focus for our multilingual students.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Brown O'Hara?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. May I please have a motion for item D, agreement with Joliet Township High School and Reed and Espanol?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown O'Hara?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Yes.
May I please have a motion for E, agreement with Joliet Township High School and Flourish ED 22?
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments?
I have some questions. So I read this over a couple of times, and I have concerns that the scope of work is very large for 88 hours of consulting work. Transition services, community integration, there is a lot in here. And it's no surprise, former transition specialist myself. So as I was reading this, I'm just concerned that we're putting a high level of expectation on an outside contractor to be able to get all of that work done by December.
I can answer this.
Perfect.
So, thank you. So, I asked the consultant to give us a proposal through December, because I wanted to give our new our new director of special ed and our new AVAC transition coordinator time to get acclimated. Rather than giving us a proposal for a year or 2 years, I asked the consultant just to give us something to get us going, and then we would come back and adjust our potential needs. So it is when I met with both the consultant and our new director and even our new AVAC and transition coordinator. I realize it is very broad and a lot of work to be done. The intention to work with the consultant is to get us going, so then our director and new coordinator then can take the next steps.
So I guess that's where my concern lies, because you are working with new staff. This has been an identified area previously, so it's not something that hasn't been worked on or worked towards. So I would like to see like an assessment or a review like in late August, early September to help that team kind of reframe and maybe even reduce the scope of work to focus on areas that could be achieved in that shorter time frame, or have some planning on how they can continue that work. I can only speak to my own personal experience. When I read this over, this is a 3-year project, right? Like, minimum, so.
So would it be helpful then, sometime during first semester, we bring back sort of a progress report of sort of where we're at, and narrowing the scope of what is more feasible, and prioritize what can be done in the correct amount of time. And it's completely associated with our action plan 2.
Right.
So that's still in progress. And so I think we appreciate the board and yourself understanding the undertaking, and that we're not going to be have like these things all tangibly done in December, and we all understand that. So I think we can just give regular reports out of where we're at, and then we can go from there. Because we also are not necessarily thinking we need to work with a consultant the entire time we're working on this. Like Ms. McDonald said, it's to get us started with the new staff that we have and have that support there. So I think it's very reasonable to come back to the board with where we're at and what our next steps are sometime during first semester.
Yeah, I don't want, like, I'm not looking to set anybody up, right? And so
Right.
when I read that over, I'm like, what? Like, I think this would be, if people, outsiders came and looked at this and said, hey, we paid for this, why wasn't this done? The scope of work is really large. So, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, may I please have a motion?
Oh, you have the motion
Roll
already?
call.
Oh, roll call. Sorry. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Leonard?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Yes.
Item F, may I please have a motion for donations?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Any questions or comments? We want to thank DH Motorcycle Club. They had an event called the Annual Touch a Bike, and they donated the funds to both the AVAC program and the Transition Center program. So thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Leonard?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
May I please have a motion for item G, 2526, winter spring holiday?
So moved.
Second?
Any questions or comments?
The
Roll call,
building,
please.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
go
the
ahead.
buildings are closed those 3 days during spring break. Nobody works? Or is it just certain,
We're open 3 days, closed 2.
closed too?
Yes, and then we have the spring holiday, so that's the third.
Third day,
so-
okay.
uh,
Yep,
Does
got it.
that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And sometimes
You
the
just see
spring
the 3 days
holiday
of, like-
is attached to spring break, and sometimes it's not.
Yep. AKA Good Friday. Got it.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Leonard?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
All right, we're going to move on to item H, second reading of new board policies, policy 2240. It's number 1, students who are parents, expectant parents, or victims of domestic or sexual violence. May I please have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I'm just wondering, do we need to vote on each one of these separately, or can we block them together?
I was told separate.
You can, you could take them all together. I think in the past, we've taken like H as one, I as one, J as one, and then K 1 through
1 through
21.
21, that's what
It's just, we don't usually have this many separate types of policies.
Okay.
Yep.
I just want to say that just reading that, it seems very confusing. The students who are parents, expectant parents, are victims of domestic or sexual violence. That, like, the whole thing was just difficult. But, yeah. Any other questions, comments, considerations? No, may I please have we had the motion to, yeah. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Leonard?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
May I please have a motion for item I, second reading of rewritten board policies, number 1, Title 9, grievance procedure?
So
I'll make-
moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Leonard?
Yes. And item J, second reading of updated board policies, handbook update and student discipline update. Item 1, student behavior. May I please have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any questions or comments?
Just, I want to point out with student discipline in there that there is a change to the handbook that was in there as well. So the board had previously approved and there was a small change. So the handbook as well as the policy is in there. So we'll make sure that that is updated into the 25-26 handbook.
Thank you. Roll call, please. Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, we're going to move on to item K. May I please have a motion for item K, which would include, second reading of updated board policies, items 1 through 21.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 All right, now we're moving on to item L, personnel reports. Items 1 through 13. May I please have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments on these? Seeing
Where,
none, roll call.
I'm sorry. Are we fully staffed for next year?
Not yet, but we're getting closer.
Okay. Is it teaching positions or are they
We have
across the board?
teaching and we have administration. We have needs in every area, but we're on track.
Okay.
All right, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 All right, Ms. Lynn, if you could please help us with item I, student discipline recommendations.
Expulsion Hearing Board recommendations. After receiving and deliberating the information contained in the hearing officer's report, the Board of Education is charged with deciding, 1, whether removing the child from his or her learning environment is in the best interest of the school. 2, what the rationale is for specific duration of the recommended expulsion. 3, whether all appropriate and available behavioral and disciplinary interventions were exhausted. And 4, whether the continued presence in the school would either A, pose a threat to the safety of other students, staff, or members of the school community, or B, substantially disrupt, impede, or interfere with the operation of the school. The Board of Education must then convene into public session to formally vote on the motion to expel. If the expulsion is the consensus arrived at the during executive decision. So the first one is case number C242519, recommended expulsion until June of 2026, placed at Lincoln School.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Okay, case number C242520, recommended expulsion until June of 2026, placement at Lincoln School. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Case number, I lost my place, that was the, okay. C242521, recommended expulsion until June 2027, placement at Lincoln School. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Case number W242522, recommended expulsion until June 2027, and placement at Lincoln School. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, Dr. Guzman, I'm going to move this over to you.
I just wanted to just thank a couple new staff members who are just approved tonight for coming this evening. We have Cicely Calhoun, who is our new Director of Human Resources. And then we also have Jessica Sheehan, who is our new office staff for special services at the district.
Congratulations. We are going to move on to unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business? Nope. All right, new business. Board reports.
I had the honor and pleasure of being at the Joliet Central graduation again this year. They're always very hospitable towards me. Allowed me to give the board address this year, which was very kind. And it was just a really great evening. And the air conditioning, perfect.
I attended the Joliet West 10 a.m. graduation, or was it 11 a.m.? And again, it was a wonderful ceremony, and, you know, at the end of it, your face hurts from smiling so much, because that's why we're there, is to see the kids finish, and it's an exciting moment. So thank you for letting me have the honor of being there.
I also, I'm going to admit, I usually go to Joliet Central's, their graduations, but this year I had a graduate from Joliet West. And can I just say, I went to Joliet West graduation a few years ago, and what I'll say is, it was a beautiful ceremony this year. I love the pomp and circumstance, everything. I mean, I liked it. I was wowed this year. So, great job, everybody. Not comparing to Joliet Central, though. I would just say, on its own, okay?
Well, unfortunately, maybe my second year missing graduation, and that's because it conflicted with my birthday. So, that was a choice I had to make. So, I do apologize for not being there.
Next year.
Yes.
I did make one of my friends buy her son's graduation picture, because it was kind of neat giving the diploma to someone you know, and when you see them, like, you're getting that picture, because it is meaningful to be able to give it to someone you know.
Yes, thanks for making all of that magic happen. Thank you very much.
It's a heavy lift.
I just want to say one more time, thank you. That playbook is really awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I'd like to look at
And I see why people come to JTHS for models for various reasons. That was really awesome. And also just being cognizant always of the fact that, what's going on in our local and our federal government and how that can impact our students, and just being there all the time and knowing that we appreciate that. Thank you. All right, announcements or public comment? All right, can I please have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Amen.